The moment they realized they couldn't control your future anymore, their entire story about you began to fall apart. They expected you to stay hurt, stay confused, and keep chasing their approval. Instead, you became quieter, wiser, and stronger. And that's the part they never prepared for. What shocks them isn't that you left. It's that you found yourself without them. There comes a point in every unhealthy relationship where one person believes they have complete control. They become convinced they understand every reaction, every weakness, and every emotion of the other person. They assume they know exactly how the story will end. But sometimes, life writes a completely different ending. People with controlling or manipulative patterns often mistake kindness for weakness. They see empathy, patience, and forgiveness as signs that someone will never walk away. They believe compassion means unlimited tolerance. That misunderstanding becomes their biggest mistake. They expected every harsh word to lower your confidence. They believed every criticism would make you question yourself. They thought emotional pressure would slowly convince you that you needed their approval to feel valuable. For a while, you may have struggled. You may have questioned yourself, replayed conversations, and wondered if you were the problem. That's a normal response after experiencing repeated emotional manipulation. But while they thought you were breaking, something else was happening beneath the surface. You were learning. Every difficult moment taught you another lesson about your worth. Every disappointment helped you recognize unhealthy patterns. Every setback slowly pushed you towards stronger boundaries. That is why they're confused now. They remember the version of you that constantly tried to fix everything. They remember the person who kept giving second chances and searching for peaceful solutions. They expected that version of you to stay forever. Instead, you discovered something much more powerful than proving them wrong. You chose yourself. You stopped trying to convince someone to value what they refuse to appreciate. You stopped explaining your heart to someone determined to misunderstand it. You realized that protecting your peace is not selfish. It's necessary. That decision changed everything. Now the same confidence they once tried to weaken has returned stronger than before. The same kindness they once took for granted is now protected by healthy boundaries. Your compassion still exists, but it is no longer available to people who misuse it. This is often the moment when someone who relied on control becomes frustrated. The strategies they once believed would always work suddenly stop producing the same results. They may try to rewrite the story. They may present themselves as misunderstood. They may seek validation from others or attempt to shift responsibility away from themselves. Those reactions are often driven by their own need to protect the image they've created. But none of that changes your reality. The truth is simple. You didn't become cold. You became clear. You didn't lose your heart. You learned where your heart belongs. You didn't become the villain. You simply stopped volunteering for a role that was hurting you. That's what makes your growth so powerful. You never had to win an argument. You never had to seek revenge. Your greatest response was continuing to heal while refusing to abandon your values. The strongest transformation often happens quietly. While others assume nothing has changed, you're rebuilding your confidence, strengthening your mindset, setting healthier standards, and creating a future that no longer depends on someone else's approval. People who underestimated you rarely expect that kind of growth. They expected endless access to your energy, your attention, and your forgiveness. They never imagined you would recognize your own value and walk forward without looking back. Real strength isn't becoming harder. It's becoming wiser. Real confidence isn't proving people wrong. It's no longer needing their permission to become the person you're meant to be. And once self-respect becomes stronger than the fear of losing someone, everything changes. That's why your silence feels different. Your peace feels different. Your boundaries feel different. Because they're no longer built on fear. They're built on self-worth. If today's message spoke to you, Take it as a reminder that healing isn't about becoming someone else. It's about returning to the strongest version of who you have always been. Keep protecting your peace, keep growing, and never underestimate the quiet power of choosing yourself.